Gentlemen. Coach, once you're settled, if you'd like just to give an opening statement, thoughts on today's victory, and we'll get our questions to our students, athletes quickly after. Thanks, Coach.
Yeah, really like the fact that we did a great job in these two games rebounding the basketball. It's really put us in a great position from a possession standpoint. We got rebounded by 10 in the first half. Then obviously we got rebounded by 7 in the second. Obviously we had some careless turnovers and keeping the game close. But I thought our execution was really good. It's a hard, I wouldn't say it's an adjustment, but it's a hard thing to do is play them in the second game when they switch everything. Because people will switch a lot, but they normally don't switch with your center. So when they switch everything, you got to be able to manipulate the defense, but you also got to be able to make good decisions when you're passing and catching. But I thought our guys did a good job. I thought P.J. Thompson, our assistant, who's in charge of our offense, did a really good job of getting us ready to play. And that's where it starts for us. Like, we can't go further without playing great offensively. We just can't. We have to play great. We have to execute well. We have to shoot the ball well. And that's not really pressure. That's just a fact. But the part of getting rebounds and getting more possessions there, we got to clean up our turnovers and keep rebounding. Because both teams that are going to play in the next game that we'll face in Indy, both are very, very good teams across the board, but also a lead at rebounding the basketball.
Thank you very much, Coach. We'll take questions for Fletcher and Trace here in the middle.
Tom Bruce, Sports Illustrated, Purdue. Fletcher, Coach just mentioned it in regards to execution and such in the first half, but it seemed like you guys were getting like what you wanted. How happy were you with the decision making and the execution and what you guys were doing offensively in the first half?
Yeah, I thought we were really hooked up. I thought start the game just taking care of the ball, handling their pressure, and really only towards the end I thought was the only time we did it for the full 40 minutes. So I'm impressed with that. I'm also impressed with just how we handled the physicality of the game and rebounding.
Thanks, Fletcher. Here to the right.
Matt Norlander, CBS, to your right, Trey. Right over here. More work to do, but just can you speak to the team's sense of pride, accomplishment, drive all season long? You lost one of the best players in the history of college basketball last season. Here you are, I believe for the 6th time in the past 8 years as a program into the Sweet 16. What kind of statement and how proud are you to get back to this point minimally with Zach Edey now in the pros?
Yeah, well, I'm very proud. I'm proud that obviously the older guys get to experience this without, like you said, one of the best basketball players in college basketball history. And so I know that they had something to prove. But also the new guys that we have in our team that are, getting, whether it be the people that are coming in and their roles, but also the older guys that are getting, more of an opportunity now. So I'm just, proud of our team. I thought we played really well these last 2 games. We executed well and we stuck to our game plan. And then we out-rebounded both teams. So we do that. It's a winning game plan.
Thanks, Trey. Here with John to the right.
John Fanta, Fox Sports. Fletcher, Coach talked about this earlier this week, that when you get into this tournament, it's just a different monster, and nothing else really matters in terms of what happened before. For you guys, you weren't playing your very best basketball the month leading into what's happened the last week. Was there a reset at any point between you guys before you hit the floor this week in Providence of, hey, let's get this going and let's get back to Purdue basketball?
I think it's just the confidence we've continued to have in each other, in this locker room, in our coaches and our staff and everybody. Just believing that the basketball we were playing at one point is our best basketball, and we can get back to that point if we continue to defend and rebound.
Thanks, Fletcher. We probably have time for 1 or 2 more questions for our student athletes if they're out there. If there's not, you guys can head back to the locker room. Thanks for your time. Good luck next week. We'll take questions for Coach Painter. Gotta be something up there. Here you go. Back left.
Hey, Matt. Brennan Quinn from The Athletic. You talk about manipulating the defense. How much of your individual work stuff, maybe in the offseason, is just pump fakes, pivots, pass fakes, things like that you're not installing anything. You're just kind of developing those traits.
Yeah, they do a great job when they get into a rotation or they kind of get behind a little bit. They don't play the ball and the man, they play the pass. And that's different, but they got another guy coming. So you gotta work that through a lot of drill work in your rotations. There's no doubt that they have a lot of drill work there where they're very good. And so sometimes it's like when Trey gets into those short rolls, we always talk about catching the ball and pausing. Just wait and see where they're coming, because some people, you know how they're going to help. These guys will help with everybody, but they swarm the basketball and do such a good job in those situations where when you're in a rotation where you have 4 out, and I call it a pinball, a one more pass where you pinball it and you're going. They do such a good job of bracketing and playing that passing lane. If you'll just pump fake and pause, but catch it on the arc. So you're a dribble away from the rim, you can make a post feed or you can stick that 3. But they get you playing at a speed that you're just not accustomed to. And I thought our guys did a really good job for most of the game. We obviously got careless there at the end, but I thought we did a really good job there. But you're not going to be a great rebounding team in rotations. Nobody is, you know, and that's when they're at their best. When they rebound well in their rotations, that's when they're tough to deal with. But that's where we thought we could get them. We shot well in spurts today. We made enough, right? But we also had a lot of good looks, and I thought our execution was really good. I know Braden had some turnovers, but he still gets the ball where it needs to be and understanding what we're doing against their switching.
Thanks, Coach. Here, front left.
Hey, Matt, Adam Zagoria here to your left. I noticed you were on your whiteboard on the bench there a couple minutes before the game. Are you drawing up a play there? Can you say what you're doing on your whiteboard? Is it ever common for you to draw up a play or something right before the game?
No, our PJ handles our offense. It doesn't mean I don't interject, but I'm really writing the same things on the board that I normally write every single game, because I think there's a lot of things that can change in a game, but there's also those pillars, those constants that don't. Run, rebound, and defend, stick to our rules, things of that nature. They're very general, they're very hokey, but they're very true. And so, like, I think young people that haven't been here and people that kind of get caught up sometimes, we can overload them. Like, you have to give a lot of information to go against that kind of a defense. You have to understand what you're doing. And I think the failure that we had against the teams in the non-conference that switch a lot and play that way, I think that really helped us. It helped us be able to adjust and be able to play.
Here to the right with John.
Matt, obviously, going into the season, you knew that Trey Kaufman-Renn had to play a significant role for this team to be successful. That being said, in terms of what you knew you needed from him versus what he has ended up being for this program, how would you speak to it?
Yeah, I felt he was going to be an all-conference player. You know, we watched him, and he was around, and at times he didn't coexist with Zach the best. We would play Mace there because Mace always stretched the floor. We wanted to give Zach, that kind of space to be able to play from a decision-making standpoint. So I know he started last year at the 4, but, he waited. He waited his turn, and he was very honest about it when we had our end-of-season meeting the year before. And just says, I can wait 1 year, but I can't wait 2 years. And so Zach only stayed 1 more year. But no, he's fabulous. He's very unique. He's stronger than he looks. He can get to his jump hook. He's a good passer. Tonight was his probably best rebounding game of the season. He hasn't rebounded like that. That really would be a separator from him in terms of a kind of a national player.
Coach, you're back right.
With the right, Pep. Speaking well, what you said about Trey and developing him and the guy, your just ability to keep guys in the program and keep them progressing to the point where they're going to be contributors. How have you done that?
Obviously, signing good players. Brandon Brantley is one of our assistants that works with our big guys, and he's done a really good job with that. Trey's a very simple person. He's to the point, academics, basketball, and that's about it. He puts a lot of time into his game. And just kind of finding those guys with that passion and that competitive spirit that want to get better. Like Braden Smith, Fletcher Lawyer, you can go right down the list. Like, you got to give them the credit more than us, but you also got to give us the credit for finding that out about them, that it matters to them and it cares. And because, players are made in the off season. Those guys had great off seasons, and they love Zach Edey. All of us love Zach Edey. He makes you a great coach, right? But there's also a part of it, it's hard to adjust without him because he meant so much to us and how we played and how we had to change. We played through ball screens, but now what Trey does and how we get to the pocket passes and the short rolls, we never did that before. because it didn't make sense because we've had the really big guys, A.J. Hammonds, Isaac Haas, Caleb Swanigan, Jawan Johnson, who's more of a flip-up type guy. So, like, that was our adjustment. Our adjustment was that, but it also makes it work because Braden can pass the basketball so well. But no, we've always felt like he was going to be that guy. He's always been a guy that's been able to score. And he did a good job scoring against Zach in practice. That's always a good indicator that it's going to work against everybody else.
Thanks, Coach. We'll take two quick ones here, front right.
Matthew Travis, KPLC. Coach, you got up 25, and then they went on an 11-0 run. Just talk about withstanding that run and being able to not let them get back into it.
Yeah, and we had some adversity, obviously, in the High Point game, too. I think it's good to have it. You don't want to have it. You want to push the game out and win, decisively. But just trying to get them to keep their composure. We made a couple mental mistakes there. We passed across our body. We didn't pass fake before we went. And with that being said, they're really active. And they're tough to go against. But, yeah, anytime you can put yourself in that position, it's kind of the human behavior. Like, if you haven't been a part of it, it probably drives you nuts, but it doesn't drive you as nuts if you're standing on that sideline. Like do everything that you just did to put yourself in that position. Don't get away from it. But, it does happen. It was good to, see that composure, from our guys just to kind of hang in there and be able to finish the game.
Take one more front right here.
Robbie Lasella, brackets.org. Matt, after the way things ended last season, how hungry were you guys during the regular season to get back to the big dance? And now after 2 wins, what's kind of the mentality like in the locker room?
Well, we have a lot of guys that, that work hard and put a lot of time into it. It's more trying to, set our offensive identity and work towards that. Our guys put in a lot of time working out in the summer, but when we get our time as a group, we practice. I just think it's so important in June, July, August when you get your time, because we start school normally around August 20th, 21st. Like the first day of school, we practice. We take those 4 hours and we try to put it towards how we can grow into it. And when Daniel Jacobson got hurt, we felt with Daniel that we would have played 2 ways offensively, when he was at the center, then when he was out of the game, and then Trey was more at the center. Wilberg was playing at that time, and so like we were trying to figure out like all the different ways. Sometimes you have too much, right? And so like that's really the time that we put into doing it, and then becoming just a really sound defensive team. Like we knew we weren't going to be great in terms of keeping the ball in front of us all the time. You see how they played, right? They're just ISOing us and taking us, and we're loading up against them. So just trying to create that identity on both ends of the court, and then have a foundation. A lot of people don't realize, like, if you're just talking about it and you're just working out in the summer, like your foundation now starts when practice actually starts. We want it to start in June, so now we can grow and then be at our best at this time of the year.
Coach, thanks for your time. Best of luck in Indy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Matt, are you ready for this post-game tradition with me?
Is this post-game tradition?
Danny did it after he won last year.
Well, hell yeah, I want to do it now.
Stand up. Like this.
You got too much free time, Zach. What do you got?
All right, now you're going to go viral now.
Huh?
You're going to go viral. Danny won catching this last
You
year.
think that was the reason? Not Donovan Klingon?
That helped.
Not Caravan. Not that. The Frisbee. God. I like it better when we talk about the Eagles concert.
All right, we'll talk more about that.